So, after connecting every cables to your controller from your display, BMS, motor, and so on, we should set your controller parameters to operate right and officially. So, how to do it? It's very easy. First, let me change settings. Okay. First we go to the main menu, and we go to the battery setup. In battery setup, if we use BMS from Adaptto with controller, we switch it to BMS enable yes. Or if we don't use it, of course we set no here. But in our case we use it, so we set yes. Next thing, we go to BMS setup, and here we see we have two main parameters. Is channel A configuration, where you have board number on the left and number of cells connected to this board. You cannot connect only one cell to the board, so for example in our case we have 22 cells and we connected like 5 boards full and one board just for 2, because the maximum number of cells connected to one board is 4. But let's imagine we have 21 cells battery, and we need to connect it. What do we do next? Then we set the 6 boards with 2 and board number 5 with 3, for example, or any other. So in total we'll have what we need, 21 cell, and we want to use only one cell per board. After we set this parameter, we go back and we go to the cell voltage configuration. Press right, and here I would recommend to choose custom, and we set parameters to the battery cells we want to use. I'll explain what does it mean. This is a maximum voltage of your cell. So for example, if you charge your battery and BMS will notice that one of your cell reached that level, maximum level, it will stop charging your battery. The same with minimum. If you hit the minimum level, you won't be able. Actually, I'm not sure, but like, I guess in a minimum it will show just the discharged battery. Then the next one is balancing, and the balancing voltage means that as only the lowest cell voltage will go over this value, the BMS will start balancing the whole battery. And the critical is, I suppose, the voltage that if we reach that one, the controller will show the low voltage and won't let us use motor anymore till we charge it. And then we press back, and that's pretty much all parameters you need to do with BMS in this BMS setup. Next thing, we set the battery amp hours and battery watt hours, and we set the discharge cutoff, whatever you have with your battery. The pressing down, and we have high voltage cutoff parameter, and for example you have fully charged battery with 73 volt. Let's set your high voltage cutoff 75, just to be able to use regenerative braking even with a fully charged battery. Then we go back and we go to the interface real quick. I'll show. We have speed units, we switch it to kilometers or miles, and brightness. That's two main important ones. The next one, we go to controller setup, and the next thing we do is a calibration. We go to the throttle linear, we press right, and the controller asks us to smoothly push the throttle. So we do this, and this way we calibrate the throttle with your throttle with this new controller from Adaptto. After we did this, we can check it by this parameter, this setting. If everything is okay, we go back and we go to the one of the main parameter or setting on the controller. It's auto detect. And how does it work? We just go here, press right, and then controller told us we need to push the throttle and wait until the controller will find the right settings for your controller. And after the auto detect will be completed, of course we interrupted by pressing it back because we don't have a motor connected. But if it might happen that the motor starts spinning backward, we just go here, direction, and switch it from negative to positive, from minus to plus, or opposite. If we have backward spinning on plus, just switch it to minus. Next thing we have is region settings. Okay, let's go here. And first of all, let's make it enable, and then the parameter rated current. What does it mean? If you have a battery that supposed to be charged with the maximum current of 21.9 amp, then we can set this parameter over here. So do not overstress your battery. About other parameters you may read on Adaptto webpage, but of course, as I said, I'll briefly explain the main settings just to let you know real quick how to set your controller to be able to ride it. And next setting is charge setting. That's very important to not damage your battery if you're gonna charge your battery with Adaptto controller. So you should set the charge cutoff correspondingly to your battery and maybe half volt less. And the next parameter is supply current. What does it mean if you have a power supply that can supply, like, let's say 100 amps, but you want to limit your supply current to 20? You set here 20. And the charge current is the current actually that will flow into your battery. So if your battery rated for 10 amps current charge, you leave it 10 amps. If it's more, you set more. If it's less, you set less. Those two are not so important, I guess. You won't even use those. So traction setting. You can leave it like this. I won't explain you all these parameters because, as I said, I just explain the most important one you definitely need to set. Let me see. Okay, we go back and we go to advanced setup. Here you see the angle correlation and this timing parameter. Or angle correlation correspond to your hole angles on your motor, and you may change this parameter both ways a bit until you find, after a couple of times made auto detect, until you find the best performance for your motor with the right setup. The same with with a timing parameter. Usually it's different for different type of motors, especially if it's high speed motor or high torque motor, it will be different. And then this parameter, okay, it's also a bit difficult to explain in few words, so you can leave it like this or made it up to 1.5 or something. There's a big difference in this parameter for high torque and high speed motors. Okay, if you have a thermosensor installed in your motor, then please choose here yes, and choose what thermosensor you have, thermoresistor you have. You have different option here, and then you go next, and we have a temperature limit. So set whatever limit you want to have to not over hit your motor, and then that's pretty much everything you need to know here. I mean, like the most important stuff. And yeah, you have a master password and menu password to set the password on your menu and parameters. And the next one step you need to have to set is power mode profiles. So we go here and we have 3 modes: eco, normal and boost, and you set different parameters for each of mode. And let me explain what each parameter mean. It's like, first one is how many current you draw from a battery on each mode. The next parameter is the phase current to your motor, and then the next one is braking, regenerative braking current. The next one is maximum speed in each mode. You can set it whatever you want. And acceleration. Acceleration does not mean some physical value. It just relative values in this controller. You can increase them or decrease. Eco and normal mode, as far as I remember, has limited parameters to 15 and 31. And there is no limit on boost for acceleration. Then you go back, again, you press save settings, and this should be pretty much everything you need to set just to start riding your controller. Of course, it is good to have a final settings by made in advanced setup, but to start riding your bike, that's pretty much it. So as you see, it won't take you too long to set them correct, and if you connect every wire in the right way, the motor should spin quiet, almost silent, and your temperature of the motor and controller should stay in a normal working diapason. So I hope this video was helpful for beginners. Of course, advanced user will set much more parameters for themselves that correspond to their way of riding and the equipment they use on their electric bikes. But again, for the beginners, that should be enough. If you have any questions concerning what I told here, please leave them as a comment, and I will try to give you an answer, or feel free to send email to info@vectorebike.com. Thank you for your attention, and hope this video was helpful. And yeah, once again, Thank you for your attention. Bye.